Mr. Speaker, in less than 10 years, the Liberals will ban the sale of new gas-powered vehicles in Canada. They will force Canadians into buying costly and unreliable electric vehicles. Think about that. This is happening at a time when the industry itself is failing. Just read the news. Honda delays $15 billion EV project citing demand reports, CTV News. General Motors to halt EV van production in Ontario to adjust for market demand, says Reuters. Ford delays new EV plant, cancels electric three-row SUV, reports CNBC. Why should Canadians be forced to buy an EV when the companies making them are backing out? Mr. Speaker, the most damning criticism of the Liberal government's gas-powered vehicle ban is not coming from industry, it's not coming from the media, and it may not even be coming from Conservatives. In fact, one of the most vocal opponents of the Liberals' gas-powered vehicle ban is the Environment Minister's very own department. Conservatives have uncovered damning evidence that revealed the Environment Minister was advised on the damage that banning gas-powered vehicle sales would have to Canadians, but plowed ahead with the plan anyways. When the government creates a new regulation, the department conducts something called a regulatory impact analysis. The purpose of the analysis is to advise the government on the impacts of the regulation, hence the term regulatory impact analysis. Conservatives obtained these documents, and what we discovered was very damning. According to the Environment Minister's very own department, the regulation to ban gas-powered vehicle sales will have a devastating impact to Canadians. The government's own regulatory impact analysis states this policy will, and I quote, lead to a loss of consumer choice for consumers, end quote. In other words, Canadians will have fewer options when choosing a vehicle. The government's internal analysis further reveals that zero-emission vehicles are expected to, and I quote, cost more than non-zero emission vehicles, end quote. And as the analysis points out, the price increase could, and I quote, lead to a reduction in the quantity of vehicles purchased, end quote. This means fewer Canadians will be able to afford these new, more expensive vehicles. And it gets worse, Mr. Speaker. According to the government's internal report, and I quote, mechanics will likely incur costs to retrofit their shops and invest in training to service ZEVs. These costs would likely be shared with consumers by passing much of the costs on to consumers through higher service costs, end quote. So not only will Canadians be paying more upfront for their vehicles, but they'll also face higher repair costs down the road. The government's internal analysis even highlights the increased wear and tear the Liberals' electric vehicle mandate will have on our highways and roads. And I quote, ZEVs are generally heavier than non-ZEVs due to the size of batteries used to power them. The document goes on to say that this added weight could, and I quote, lead to increased wear and tear on the roads, end quote. But Mr. Speaker, it even gets worse than that. The analysis reveals the EV mandate will, and I quote, increase the demand on the electricity grid. It goes on to state, and I quote, a significant increase in demand for electricity, particularly at peak time, could lead to an increase in electricity prices, end quote. On top of that, off the regulatory impact analysis states the cost of manufacturing, and I quote, tends to be higher than those of non-ZEVs. It goes on to say that those costs, and I quote, are expected to be passed directly to consumers, end quote. In fact, the department states that the Environment Minister's regulations will cost the Canadian consumers over $54 billion. Whoa. Can you imagine that? $54 billion it's going to cost Canadians. Mr. Speaker, these are not my words. These are the words from the government's analysis that was conducted by their very own department. The Liberals were advised that their gas-powered vehicle ban would increase vehicle costs, increase maintenance costs, increase electricity costs, decrease vehicle choice, and damage our roads. And guess what? They plowed ahead with their gas-powered vehicle ban anyways. Mr. Speaker, the Environment Minister's own department was sounding the alarm. and over the Liberals' vehicle mandate, but the minister ignored their advice. And now Canadians are paying the price.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the past, we know there have been incentives and subsidies offered at both the federal and provincial level to both encourage the growth of the industry and to assist people with purchasing electric vehicles. I'm wondering if my honourable colleague across the aisle would support that.
Question.
The honourable member for Riding Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians can't even afford these things. I don't think the member gets how much damage they're doing to Canadians' pocketbooks. Everything's cost more expensive. This is in the middle of an affordability crisis. People can't afford housing, for heaven's sakes. And now you're going to incentivize people. You're going to give Canadians, taxpayers, more of their taxpayers' money just to say, here, go buy something else. It's absolutely ridiculous, Mr. Speaker.
River.
I wonder if my colleague could comment at all on, expand on the damage to the road system that the EV mandate might present.
The honourable member for Riding Mountain.
Well, that's a very good question. Ironically, when we were researching this piece for the motion, that was one thing. We all know that the batteries and the technologies are at the point where they do weigh more than actually a lot of diesel engines. The biggest difference between putting batteries in light cars is there's no tires to support that weight in that chassis. So whereas if you put a big engine, a big diesel engine into a 4x4, they have 20-inch tires and nice wide, they distribute the weight. So that's why it's a thing that I don't think the department even kind of considered until or the government obviously didn't decide. So it's going to destroy our roads even further.
Comments.
Thank you for my colleague's comments there. I just have a quick question with regards to, in his looking at the reports, did he find any evidence that they went in any other direction to look at any other reasons for technology to save on efficiencies, or is it all about just going electric and no other savings on other types of energy?
The honourable member for Riding Mountain.
Yeah, and ironically, this was about the actual report was about the impact analysis on implementing this policy for basically banning the sale of gas-powered vehicles by 2035. So that was the only analysis that was done.